Lilith's message. Lilith's history lesson greetings from home to everyone. I am Lilith, the ninth of nine. Every day is joyful because so much is happening on your planet. While there are many opportunities for change, an alignment is also taking place. Now, this is not an alignment of stars, nor an alignment of physical beings. It is an energetic alignment. You will have the opportunity to make enormous changes throughout this year, and into the early part of next year. Humans have many opportunities for change. But what does this mean for ordinary people? Well, the reality is that none of you are ordinary. You are magical beings, every single one of you. And we are so happy that you are in a position to make a difference on this planet, because your time has come. Cycles of power, many people will experience an energetic shift, because it is time to initiate something new. Doors will open, but yes, some will also close. Power cycles begin when something is released. Sometimes it is taken from us, other times it is given to us. Or, we simply decide, I'm done with this, so I'm moving on. This is an incredible time to realign and finally bring some of your dreams to fruition. Even if those doors aren't open yet, we ask you to give them a little push. Now is a wonderful time to do so. Your planet has long been dominated by masculine energy. This is not wrong, because in your early days it was perceived as necessary for survival. But it is no longer your primary priority, because you are moving toward a unity consciousness rather than individual survival. History often repeats itself, yes. You have been here many times before, even on Earth. Although you know the history of Lemuria and Atlantis, you have not been able to find physical evidence of them, and this is for many reasons. We tell you, dear ones, that you've been here 5 other times. If it were to happen again, it would be the 6th extinction event. You have entirely new opportunities available to change and shift things before such an event takes place. There are also many possibilities for moving into other space-time dimensions, which we will discuss later. The beautiful thing is that doors are opening to completely different possibilities. Historically, women have been relegated to subordinate roles. History has almost always been written by the victors, and this is what has happened in your history as well. Someone conquers a land, drives out the population, changes everything, and then writes history to justify all these actions. This has happened repeatedly, not only on Earth, but also in other places. The Bible and the Old Testament, many books that were once associated with the Bible were removed. Or they were simply never included, like the Zohar. Some of these historical writings were hidden in the form of scrolls. There are many stories about why they were hidden, but most were concealed because they were being destroyed by those who wanted to control you. At the time, there were so many writings that your ancestors eventually chose to create a standardized collection of history and spiritual teachings, which became the Old Testament. The first 5 books of the Bible, the Torah, were also part of this process. Although these writings were divinely inspired, they were all interpreted, transcribed, and rewritten by men. Yes, they contain many beautiful truths. However, the authors naturally tended to favor male leadership over female leadership. Very few books of the Bible explore the struggles or triumphs of women, and none are traditionally considered to have been written by women. The writings of Mary, for example, were extraordinary, and some fragments of them have been found. Hidden Scrolls Rediscovered Humanity continues to discover other hidden scrolls in various places. You have discovered the Dead Sea Scrolls, and others have also come to light. There are records of events that took place in those times, but they simply were not selected for inclusion in the biblical canon because that process was directed by men. Many of these books were not written by the people whose names they bear. Some were written by the same person under a pseudonym, while many others were altered to produce something considered beautiful and meaningful. It is true that the writings of the Bible contain extraordinary teachings, so please do not reject them all because of what we are sharing. However, keep in mind that they have been edited. The Garden of Eden, in that editing, I was almost completely erased. Only a small reference to my existence remains in the Bible today. In Genesis, right at the beginning, it speaks of Adam and a female creature created from dust. And that female creature was me. The original arrangement was quite simple. Adam wanted to be in charge. Although it has been said that I refused to submit to him, that was not what it was about. It was about refusing submission, about having an equal and active role in creation. Later in Genesis, Adam was put to sleep, and a rib was taken from him, and then Eve was created. But later, both Eve and I were demonized. You have been told that Eve sinned because she ate the apple that was forbidden to her. The apple represented the tree of knowledge, but why would anyone forbid another from seeking knowledge? There are fascinating stories that have often been misunderstood, while beneath them lie profound truths. including those concerning the Garden of Eden. All of this has many facets, and we will continue to explore them because there is a beautiful energy hidden within these stories. Similarly, on Eris, which was another dimensional expression of Earth, there existed another version of reality. You are multidimensional, and so is Earth. We know this may sound complicated, but there are 11 different Earths, in addition to the Earth's higher self. You live on one of them. One dimension of Earth where I incarnated until recently was the planet Eris. This is not the exoplanet you have recently discovered, but it bears the same name. The balance they're tilted in the opposite direction. Planet Eris, as we have already explained, each of you possesses 11 aspects of your spirit that coexist simultaneously. The 12th aspect is your higher self, which connects all of your dimensional selves and restores your sense of wholeness. It also connects you to home. When you channel, receive inspiration, have brilliant ideas, or create something beautiful, all of this happens through your higher self. It also distributes energy among your other dimensions. One of the simplest examples of these dimensions is choice. Often, when you make a significant choice, you wonder what would have happened if you had chosen differently. The answer is that in another dimension, another aspect of you made that different choice. Likewise, Earth chose a form of male leadership. Eris chose a female one. On Eris, we also underwent a deep imbalance, just like Earth today. However, we worked on this imbalance until the energies gradually returned to harmony. When balance is restored, something magical happens. Dimensional doors open, and entirely new possibilities become available. It is truly wonderful. But first, you must overcome the limitations imposed by your initial history. Humanity, even your language, reflects this imbalance. You call humanity mankind. You do not call it womankind. Even the word woman has often been interpreted in relation to man. For much of your recorded history, women have been assigned subordinate roles. Women excel in many fields, as do men. However, both women and men have often accepted limiting roles that are no longer useful to humanity. Today, many men are incarnating with a wonderful balanced feminine energy because they are deeply empathetic. Some have struggled greatly to adapt to Earth because they perceive everything around them, so they've had to protect themselves simply to be able to function. One manifestation of this sensitivity appears in what you call autism, although autism is certainly not the only expression. These people perceive energy everywhere. Offer them safe spaces and balance, and you will see extraordinary gifts emerge from them. This fusion of masculine and feminine energy represents a new way of leading Earth. And what would happen if humanity truly managed to balance these energies? Perhaps the most important question is this: would we still need leaders as we have known them? Leadership itself could evolve. The power of leadership today, your leaders hold immense power because humanity has granted it to them. But imagine a world where leadership merely serves the collective good, ensuring that roads are safe, schools function well, communities thrive, and daily life is secure. These are noble roles for governments. Instead, many governments have increasingly expressed their masculine energy through force, and this pattern is repeating itself in many parts of the world. Yet there is hope, and that is why I am here. On Eris, we changed things, but it was not easy and it did not happen overnight. It happened step by step, through many events. We have already told you the story of Edimos. It may seem like everything changed in an instant, but it was just one event among many. Sarah and Edimos were the female and male counterparts on Eris. Remember that much of your history has been altered, just as ours was on Eris. Earth's history has been largely written from a male perspective, and its influence permeates deeply into almost every aspect of your lives. Now you have the opportunity to reclaim your power in a new way, by rebalancing these energies. Watch your smile return as you feel this cycle of energy flowing through you. A cycle of energy is wonderful because you no longer feel oppressed by life. Instead, you recognize that you can consciously create, choose, and participate in your own evolution. This is the energy we invite you to step into. Yes, this is the new Earth, and you now stand before it. The door is already open, so you can walk through it whenever you wish. But know that the old methods will no longer work on the new Earth. Enjoy this journey, dear ones. You are much closer than you think. You are the wizards of the game board, and now your magic is needed. We ask you to treat yourselves with respect, to support one another, and to play well together. I am Lilith, the 9th of 9, and I love you deeply. Espavo. July's story. Energy Sector Update. July's story is that we are entering the second wave of a broader evolutionary sequence. It unfolds throughout the summer and beyond. June initiated the shift in values. July activates movement and choice. August brings conscious integration through new ideas, relationships, and self-awareness. We are opening up to new horizons and need to be fully present to seize opportunities. If February and June were the quietest months of 2026, July marks the time when energy begins to move significantly again. The first half of this year has already brought profound changes, but what is emerging now is part of a much larger story that will unfold over the coming years. This summer, the personal planets interact with the three major collective planets: Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. These are the planets responsible for liberation, spiritual evolution, and soul-level transformation. Even more importantly, they also interact with each other, creating a rare window of support, integration, and opportunity. The fortunate thing is that these activations are occurring through harmonious alignments rather than disruptive ones. It will not always be this way. Right now, we have access to serenity, opportunity, and conscious integration. This is a chance to make significant progress in a shorter time, and with less resistance than usual, if we choose to work consciously with these energies. June initiated the first wave. Venus's activations helped us focus on our values, priorities, relationships, and resources. Many of us began to realize that what once mattered no longer carries the same weight. Relational dynamics have shifted, priorities have changed, and certain desires have lost their appeal, while new possibilities have quietly emerged. June helped us identify what is changing. July marks the beginning of the second wave. Now the Sun, Mars, and Jupiter engage with these same collective energies, bringing movement where there was only reflection. The focus shifts from values to action. We begin to make new choices, take new risks, explore new possibilities, and move in entirely new directions because our consciousness has evolved. The wisdom gained over recent years of challenges, healing, and self-discovery is now ready to be applied practically. August will initiate a third wave. Venus and Mercury return to activate these same energies once more, helping us integrate what we have learned. New ideas emerge, new relationships begin to form, and new opportunities for collaboration open up. We become more aware of the new territory we are entering, and more comfortable navigating it. What now feels unfamiliar will begin to feel natural by late autumn/early winter, as we dedicate ourselves to dreaming the new dream. Together, these three waves help us transition from one version of reality to another. That said, before taking the big leap, a period of soul-searching is still necessary. These new energies are arriving, and several retrograde periods invite us to pause, reflect, and reassess before fully committing to the future. Retrogrades are often misunderstood. They are not negations or punishments, but opportunities to reevaluate our past, what we have learned, and what still requires attention before moving forward. This creates a unique dynamic in which the future calls us forward, while the past asks to be completed or closed. Rather than choosing one or the other, July asks us to do both. To honor what is ending while preparing for what is beginning. This is a month for settling outstanding matters, clarifying intentions, and strengthening foundations before the next phase accelerates. The super new moons and new beginnings are adding further momentum to this season. We are experiencing 3 super new moons in Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, which further intensify the current themes of initiation, choice, and conscious co-creation. New moons always represent beginnings, but super new moons amplify the magnetic pull on our bodies and emotions. They remind us that every new cycle requires new skills, new awareness, and new ways of relating to ourselves and others. The opportunities presenting themselves now are not about repeating old patterns in a new context, but about learning how to approach life from a higher level of consciousness. The question is, which aspect of your life requires a completely new approach? The final important point I want to emphasize is the North Node's entry into Aquarius, for the first time since 2008 to 2009. The North Node represents our collective growth, personal path, and future direction. Pisces has taught us compassion, surrender, healing, and spiritual connection. Aquarius now asks us to bring these teachings into community, innovation, collaboration, and conscious participation in the broader collective story. The next chapter is not about saving the world, but about contributing your unique piece of the puzzle. Aquarius reminds us that individuality and community are not opposites. In fact, the healthiest communities are built by individuals who know who they are and freely contribute their unique gifts. This shift encourages us to balance heart and mind, thoughts and feelings, intuition and logic, personal freedom and collective responsibility. Humanity is called to create new models of connection that honor both individuality and belonging. The most effective way to navigate July is to remain flexible while staying grounded. Pay attention to what is changing within and around you. Notice how your desires have shifted, how your priorities have evolved, and what opportunities are presenting themselves with unusual ease. Do not force outcomes. This is not a month for controlling the future. It is a month for preparing to fully participate in a future you will create yourself. Use the retrogrades to take stock, the super new moons to set your intentions, and leverage the rare alignments to support your future choices and actions. Above all, trust that the changes underway are preparing you for something greater than you can yet fully comprehend. June helped reveal what was changing. July helps you go with the change. August will help you understand where it is leading you. For now, stay present, curious, and open. And remember that every choice you make this month contributes to cultivating the foundations of an entirely new chapter on a personal, social, and collective level. Galactic message. Becoming lucid, the dreamlike nature of the physical realm becomes increasingly evident as you cultivate greater lucidity in the waking state. But what does this mean in practical terms? Think of a lucid dream. The moment you realize you are dreaming, something profound happens. You become more aware, more present, and more capable of directing your experience instead of merely reacting to it. The dream does not necessarily disappear. You simply awaken within it. The same principle applies to physical life. The soul dreams the human experience. Your higher consciousness projects itself into the field of space and time, temporarily accepting limitation in order to rediscover itself through experience. From the spirit's perspective, there is no separation, no fear, no lack. The apparent limitations of physical existence create the contrast through which wisdom, compassion, and self-realization emerge. Becoming lucid in this world means becoming aware of your consciousness. It means observing your thoughts rather than being trapped by them. It means recognizing your emotional patterns instead of being unconsciously governed by them. It means remembering, moment by moment, that you are awareness itself, not merely the personality you temporarily inhabit. As your lucidity deepens, something extraordinary begins to happen. Synchronicities multiply. Intuition becomes clearer. Manifestation becomes more conscious. You begin to notice that reality responds to the quality of your consciousness. Instead of feeling that life is happening to you, you realize it is unfolding through you. You also become increasingly sensitive to the invisible intelligence that silently orchestrates existence. What once appeared as coincidence reveals itself to be guidance. Every encounter, challenge, and opportunity becomes part of a much larger tapestry woven by universal intelligence. Life transforms into a synchronized dance when resistance gives way to conscious participation. Your nightly dreams arise from your subconscious, but your waking life unfolds within the infinite consciousness of the Creator. You are not separate from that consciousness. You are an individual expression of it. By awakening within the dream of creation, you begin to consciously co-create your experience, always in harmony with universal law. The more you align with love, truth, integrity, and service, the more reality seems to open doors that previously appeared invisible. This is one of the reasons why multidimensional civilizations appear more fluid, telepathic, and miraculous from our perspective. Their consciousness is more lucid. They remember their unity with Source while expressing their individuality. As humanity continues its awakening, this increased lucidity will naturally prepare many people for peaceful contact with higher intelligences because fear dissolves as consciousness expands. Awaken within the dream. Become the observer. Become the conscious participant. Become lucid. How compassion can support your boundaries instead of being rigid. Try using care and compassion to maintain healthy boundaries in your relationships. Setting and maintaining emotional boundaries is complicated for many of us. Perhaps we have learned that it is not okay to say no, or that we will only be loved if we are indispensable. We overexert ourselves and do more than we should, trying to please others at the expense of ourselves and our authenticity. We know we need to set limits with our partners, our bosses, and even our children, and yet we struggle. One of the reasons it is difficult to set boundaries with the people we love is because we love them. We do not want to push them away or isolate ourselves from them. But if we keep saying yes when we are exhausted or resentful, the situation will only become harder. If our relationships do not suffer, our bodies certainly will, signaling to us that we are harming ourselves when our boundaries are not well defined. Anger is often the primary emotion that signals us when a boundary has been crossed. It is important to recognize this signal to protect ourselves and preserve our emotional, spiritual, and physical balance. Anger can be cold and harsh, but compassion can be a valuable ally to it. We might be surprised to discover that compassion and care can help us set and maintain appropriate boundaries. It is understandable to think that a bit of meanness or indifference is needed to feel safe. But wouldn't compassion pull us back into answering that phone call, tidying that messy room, or debating that uncle's conspiracy theories? Not necessarily. Too often we violate our own boundaries not because someone truly needs us to do something, but because we feel the need. We fear that if we set a boundary, we will be rejected, unappreciated, ignored, or isolated, and so the issue becomes about us. Compassion helps us shift the focus back to the other person, and we can set our boundaries with love. Compassionate boundaries are not about you, for example. Let's say I need space from my sister's constant phone calls about her recent divorce. I love my sister and I understand her, but she calls late at night when I'm exhausted after workday and need rest. Fee might tell me I should answer because otherwise she will think I am a bad sister, or because my mother will judge me for not being there for her. In reality, fear is concern about me. Compassion leads me to think about my sister. She is going through a difficult time. She is also an adult and capable of handling the situation if I do not answer her call. I want to listen to what she has to say when I have the time and emotional space to do so. Compassion gives me the ability to reflect on what I can truly offer, instead of forcing my limits to help someone I care about. Another area where boundaries get blurred is during arguments, especially if we care about the other person. Imagine being at dinner with someone who deeply irritates me. I disagree with what they are saying, and we end up arguing without achieving anything, ending the evening exhausted. Compassion reminds me that this person arrived at those beliefs in their own way and for their own reasons. They are a human being just like me. Compassion allows me to remember that this argument is not about me, my identity, my concerns, or my values. It might even inspire me to ask them how their opinions were formed. Compassion can create a loving distance, with room for curiosity and connection, relieving the pressure on us and our ego. Compassion is not always the right tool when we need to set and maintain boundaries. Sometimes we need clear-eyed, cold anger, or healthy old-fashioned fear to distance ourselves from an unhealthy or dangerous situation. But it might be interesting to experiment with compassion when exploring the limits to set and practicing loving ways to maintain them. Goddess Callisto, you are a master of Earth. My name is Callisto, and I am very old. I love you very much. I am an ethereal being, yet I am with you in your material world. I know many things about you. I work in a great collaboration for genuine peace and love. There are many of us, and we are growing, because more and more souls wish to find true tranquility deep within their hearts. True peace does not arise from violence. Creating peace through war will not remain peace after a while. True peace comes from looking within, never without. Anyone in need of peace, love, and tranquility in their heart must adopt the vision of a secret, intimate room within their heart. Do not undertake any collaboration with others before completing this work. It is hard inner work that takes time. Every one of you living on Earth is going through a difficult process right now, and in reality, you have already begun working on your inner peace long ago. And now this work is finally coming to fruition. Soon you will be able to harvest the ripe fruits of your hard work. By working deeply on your inner world, on all your feelings, thoughts, traumas, and fears, you have created a new template for humanity that will follow in your footsteps. This develops primarily on the etheric level, and those who in the future undertake this path will perceive your commitment and will be able to access this template as a guide. You are those who work closely with Archangel Faith and Michael, and you are part of that group that has worked hard without receiving anything in return. You have made your way with your own strength through your strong faith in love and peace. You are also a supporter of justice, as well as honesty and humility toward every form of life. Peace comes from within, so help those around you to meditate more, or help them get started. You know that everyone is guided from within. Everyone has their own unique inner guidance waiting for each one. This is how humanity will awaken. Inner guidance is the only path to peace, and faith guides you on this path, and has done so for several decades. No matter how many books you read, and no matter how many courses you attend at some schools, your inner guidance is the alpha and omega of all your teachings. Within you, you will find masters from your planet and also masters from across the entire universe, so knowledge has no end. In fact, the more you learn, the more you understand how little you still know. So, understand how important you are and feel the joy of being exactly in the right place at the right time. You have made it. You are a master of Earth. You are a fundamental part of her, Mother Earth, and you have a nickname. Alas, which means a soul who feels the entire planet and embraces everything, every tree, every animal, every flower, every soul, and works for peace and love with every heartbeat, together with a vast tribe that does exactly the same thing. All of us, Allahs, work together with you for peace and love, and our hearts beat in the same rhythm. Know that the name has nothing to do with Allah or religion. I am Callisto, and peace of mind and heart are the most vital aspects of living on Earth and being in contact with your soul, and the work begins at home, and home is where the heart is. I love you, Callisto. The 12D creators. This message is more important than you think. We are here for you. We are the creators. We are a 12th dimensional collective of non-physical beings, and we are here to help you. We know that you are powerful beings and that you have all the power you need right now. We also know that, as powerful beings, you have chosen to experience a condition of lesser power. Notice that we said experience a condition of lesser power because you are still omnipotent beings, but you have chosen to limit access to all the power that you possess and are, in order to live very specific experiences here on Earth. And you made this choice so that you could experience what it feels like to go from a condition of lesser power to a condition of greater power. This message is more important than you think, and here is why. Many of you will receive it. It will touch you deeply, and then you will fall back into the illusion that you have no power. And you will find yourself once again agreeing with the prevailing opinion in society that those people over there have all the power, and we, who are few, have very little. That is not true. It is part of the illusion. You must understand that most of what you consider to be true is actually just a belief that you have adhered to so deeply that it appears to you as absolute truth. Only then can you release all those beliefs that tell you that you're less powerful. Remember, we said that you are here to experience what it is like to transition from experiencing being less powerful to experiencing being more powerful. And this means that you will feel more powerful, and you will be more powerful in this life if you continue to progress on the awakening path you have undertaken. You do not need anyone else to give you more power in order to live that experience of greater awareness. You do not need anyone to give you more money. You do not need anyone to give you a weapon. You do not need anyone to give you a medical bed or any other technological device you may have heard of. You are there to empower yourselves by remembering who and what you truly are as beings of source energy, as all that is. And when you are who you truly are, you simply need to put that awareness into practice through thought, word, and action. Begin to remind yourself every day of how powerful you are, and remember that you are there to free yourself from the chains you have self-imposed, so that you can recognize yourselves as the powerful creator beings you are. If for a long time you have felt less powerful, remember that the belief of having no power is not stronger than the belief of how truly powerful you are. You only think the belief of having no power is stronger because you have cultivated it longer. But if you look at it from another perspective, you can tell yourself the truth. You have already tried testing that belief. It does not fit you perfectly. It does not make you feel good. And now you are more ready than ever to let go of the belief of having no power. Instead, most people label it a deeply held belief, and thus make it more difficult to release. It does not have to be difficult. It can be the simplest thing you do today. Release the belief of having no power and embrace the belief of your power. And it can be the simplest thing precisely because it makes you feel good. We are the creators, and we love you very much.